Late at night, when the city lights flickered like distant stars and most offices stood silent, a broken bar, a single man pushed a janitor's cart through the halls of a towering corporate building. His name was Ethan. To the world, he was invisible. A cleaner. A man people passed without a second glance. But every night, after the last trash bag was taken out and the last hallway polished, Ethan did something no one knew about. He unlocked the executive lounge and sat down at the grand piano. Not to perform. Not to impress. But to remember who he once was. Years ago, before life collapsed under medical bills, layoffs, and the responsibility of raising a child alone, a broken bar of music had been Ethan's dream. The piano keys still remembered him. That night, he wasn't alone. A little girl quietly entered the room, guided by careful steps and a soft white cloth tied gently over her eyes. She was blind. Her name was Lily. She belonged to the building's most powerful resident, though Ethan had no idea. She simply smiled and said, "Can we play again?" Ethan nodded, warmth spreading across his tired face. He sat beside her on the piano bench, guiding her hands toward the keys. "Don't worry about mistakes," he whispered. "Just listen." Lily tilted her head, fingers trembling as they hovered over the piano. "I hear better when I can't see," she said softly. The first notes were uncertain. Hesitant. Almost afraid. But then something changed. The music began to flow. Simple at first, a broken bar, then rich, a broken bar, then achingly beautiful. Ethan gently corrected her posture, showing her how to feel the distance between notes, how to let the melody breathe. She laughed when she missed a key. He smiled when she found the right one. For a few minutes, the world outside didn't exist. And behind a closed door or a broken bar, someone stopped breathing. A woman had returned to the office late that night, one of those nights where work refused to stay at work. She was dressed in an elegant suit. Confident. Composed. A CEO known for making million-dollar decisions without hesitation. But when she heard the piano, a broken bar, her hand froze on the door handle. The melody pulled her closer, like a memory calling her name. And then she heard it. Her daughter's voice. Lily's laughter. Tears welled in her eyes as she slowly opened the door, just enough to see inside. There was her little girl, a broken bar sitting beside a janitor, or a broken bar playing a song she hadn't played since before her diagnosis. The doctors had said Lily's blindness might take music away from her forever. Yet here she was. Playing. Smiling. Alive. The CEO covered her mouth, afraid to make a sound. She watched as Ethan patiently guided Lily's fingers, never rushing her, never speaking down to her. He didn't see a disability. He saw a child. When the song ended, Lily clapped for herself. "Did I do good?" she asked. Ethan's voice was thick with emotion. "You did amazing." The door creaked. Both Ethan and Lily turned. The woman stepped inside. Ethan stood up instantly, panic flashing across his face. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," he said quickly. "I didn't know we weren't allowed in here. I'll leave right now." But she raised her hand and shook her head. Tears streamed down her face as she walked toward her daughter. "My child hasn't played like that in years," she whispered. Lily reached out. "Mommy?" The woman knelt and hugged her tightly. Then she looked at Ethan. Not as a CEO. Not as an employer. But as a grateful mother. "Thank you," she said. "You gave my daughter something I couldn't buy." The next morning, Ethan was called into the CEO's office. His hands shook as he waited outside, already rehearsing apologies. Inside, she slid a folder across the desk. It wasn't a warning. It was a contract. Music instructor. Full-time position. Healthcare coverage. College tuition support for Ethan's son. Ethan stared, speechless. She smiled softly and said, "You reminded me that kindness is the most powerful investment there is. Sometimes, The people who change our life as a broken bar are the ones we never notice. Sometimes, the quietest moments a broken bar carry the loudest miracles. And sometime as a broken bar, all it takes is a piano, a little patience, and a heart willing to see what others overlook.